I am on Patreon, and Patreon is a platform where I will upload interesting videos where you can learn astrology. Connect with me on Patreon and we will grow, and I will give you much more deep insights on Vedic astrology, and lot more secrets will be shared there. Hello Seekers, welcome to Punneits Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. There is a grand event, an event that may not be visible in many countries such as India, but it has great astrological significance. It's a time that will affect not only your mind, but also your body and also your intellect, the chitta, the consciousness. The reason is that there is a solar eclipse happening in the zodiac sign of Virgo on 25th of March on a full moon day. Now 25th of March is a festival day, and it is a time where the moon, Ketu, Sun, Rahu and Mercury aligns in a single straight line. Now because this is not visible, definitely there is no sutak, that means there are no restrictions as per the Shastra. But astrologically, it can trigger a lot of changes and cleansing in our life that we will not see the life as before. Nothing negative, but this eclipse holds a lot of decluttering ability. I have been mentioning this in almost all of my videos that the time now wants you to follow the path of restriction, accept your limitation while you declutter and expand and be an empty cup. Just like a cup has a volume restriction, each one of us, unless we expand and become a bigger cup, we have a restriction of knowledge. It is only that much we can keep with ourselves, and eclipse is going to create a lot of decluttering of emotions, decluttering of energies. Before we do a deep dive into the eclipse, you need to know a couple of starting points. First of all, the eclipse is happening in the zodiac sign of Virgo, where is Ketu. That means this is an eclipse caused by moon and Ketu, and whenever Ketu causes an eclipse to the moon, it usually is a moon-Ketu conjunction aspected by Rahu and Sun. Therefore, the mind is facing the brutality of Ketu, and this is going to scrape the top layer of emotion, revealing the true nature of you, and also you can say it makes you vulnerable. Next is the position of Mercury, and it is very interesting. You know why? Because Mercury is the lord of Virgo. Where is Mercury? Around 29 degrees of Revati Nakshatra. Mercury at that time will be about to cross the Pisces zodiac to Aries zodiac sign. This is a Gandanta position, and this is what makes this eclipse a very interesting one. It kind of puts you a glass of darkness, and you will have to see through that tint, and you have to make out what is real and what is fictional, what are the true colors of everything. You know why? Because it also acts like a test. It's that important. Although if you see the position of Sun, Rahu and Mercury, they are widely spread apart in the three corners, left, center and right. But Mercury crossing the Gandanta shows that this eclipse has the tendency to end a lot of things. Why? Because Revati is the final nakshatra. The fourth pada of Revati is the final frontier of any soul, any karma. And when Mercury crosses that, the debilitation of Mercury reaches its pure strength, and your consciousness dissolves in the feet of Mahavishnu. And then Mercury creates a new journey, a new consciousness, and that consciousness begins with Aries. But the eclipse happens on the day of Gandanta. The word Gandanta itself means ending of a karmic knot. That means Virgo part of the horoscope is going to be heavily affected by the eclipse. So will be the Pisces, because it is happening in the Virgo-Piscean axis. Now, because Mercury is going to trigger the end of a karmic cycle and it is so crucial that many of us will not even understand unless we have learned astrology to the core depth, that how critical this solar and lunar eclipse, this set of solar and lunar eclipse are. This Mercurian energy effect, along with Sun and Rahu, clearly talks about soul realignment. It talks about you finding the right path, but the amount of sacrifice and the grilling needed to make that right path is extremely intense, because Moon, which is mind, is with Ketu, and Moon absolutely hates Ketu. Moon is something that wants pleasantries, smoothness. Ketu is all toxic. Ketu is like a bed of needles. Ketu is like the thorns in the flower. So Moon won't like to approach that Ketu. Ketu is going to trigger a chain reaction on the emotions, and you will be forced to quit something. So this eclipse is going to cause forceful detachment. Now obviously, the day of eclipse may not trigger anything, but I will say the energies have already started. It has already started, and this is going to reach its peak. Why? Because if you observe, Venus is already in Aquarius zodiac sign. And because Venus has entered Aquarius zodiac sign, and soon Mars will also enter Aquarius zodiac sign, this Mars-Saturn-Venus conjunction is also crucial. Now you will ask me why. Now if Moon, which is mind, Ketu, which is moksha, mind and moksha are together, kind of paradox, then it is aspected by a very, very difficult Mercury, a Mercury which is trapped in Gandanta and hell-bent on you leaving the consciousness behind and starting a new life. Then you have Sun, which is your soul, trapped in the 7th house from the Moon with Rahu. And this is also the place where there will be a solar eclipse 15 days later on 8th of April. Then this axis is kind of controlling mind, body, soul. After all, if I see from Moon, the ascendant lord is Mercury, so it's a mind, body and soul complete overhaul, reset. But why is Venus so important? See, the biggest reason why Venus is important is because it is in the 6th house from the Moon, so which kind of makes it a little unpleasant. Not that it is going to be very unpleasant or something disastrous, but this adds a layer upon the multiple facets of different planetary transits. Somebody asked me, why do I upload so many videos? The question is, if I don't differentiate each transit one by one, it will be very difficult for you to get a full picture unless you are an astrologer. So each transit will give you one view, one angle with respect to one planet. When you watch multiples of them, you will find common points. Okay, Mercury can allow something, Venus may not allow. So if you are more Mercury oriented, good for you, but if you are more Venus oriented, maybe you are in a difficult situation. So the role of Venus, Mars and Saturn becomes very important. 6th house, Venus is called Marankaraka Sthan for Shukra. It kind of creates that healing ability, but Mars and Saturn shows the healing of the wound. Now to heal a wound, there has to be a wound. Therefore this eclipse becomes extremely important for people who have Moon Ketu conjunction in their birth chart and who have Venus and Ketu conjunction in their birth chart. Even people with Saturn Moon, Saturn Venus conjunction will see great tremendous change. Why? Because it is 6th house. 6th house means prarabdha. If you want to know the basic concept of eclipse, what this eclipse is targeting, you will have to see 6th house from the eclipse. What does it represent? It represents Aquarius zodiac sign with Mars, Saturn and Venus. Now Venus is in Purva Bhadrapada. This is very interesting. Venus, which kind of rules the destiny of the eclipse, the 9th lord is in the 6th house in Purva Bhadrapada, which definitely shows transcendent. This shows trans-dimensional shift. This shows ascension. So if you want to see, if you want to experience ascension, maybe Kundalini awakening, spiritual awakening, suddenly after a lot of pain, now you realize what the true path is, this eclipse is going to trigger one of that. It's a very, very crucial eclipse. 6th house will give good results with Mars and Saturn. After all, Aquarius is the zodiac sign of Saturn. But Venus being there can bring disappointments, and especially in terms of relationship, marriages, contract, your engagement. So a lot of engagements will disintegrate, a lot of engagement will find new value, new relations, and you will start feeling that emotions from now. It will find its peak expression around eclipse time, and then it will continue for the next 6 months to come. Because these are eclipses. Eclipses are the nodal point, trigger points. Imagine a train reaching a junction, and after it reaches a junction, say junction X, the track changes and it wants to reach to junction Y. But imagine if the track shifts. Instead of Y, the train following a track, assuming it will go to Y, will go to Z. And this shift can happen at X. So this junction, this shift, you will not experience now. You will experience after you have lived some time, after you have seen the energy shifts, and then you will realize how important, how cleansing this eclipse was. It may be a little difficult, but it is not a bad one. Now, people having Hasta Nakshatra are going to be affected the most by this eclipse. Why? Because this eclipse is happening in Hasta Nakshatra. Hasta is represented by Surya God, the one of the sun god, and it has moon connection to it. So the nakshatra itself has sun, moon and Mercury connection because the nakshatra is ruled by planet moon. The deity is the sun god Savitur, and then it is in the zodiac sign of Mercury. Now combine both of them, you have sun, moon and Mercury. Isn't the sun, moon and Mercury aligned in the eclipse with Rahu Ketu? Now you will understand how crucial and mathematically important this eclipse is becoming. It's turning out to be a critical juncture, a critical point in all of our life, especially the one born under Hasta Nakshatra. You will see the greatest shift in your life, the greatest, I will say, karmic cleansing that will happen, but you may not like the way it happens, but it will definitely happen. It will kind of create a permanent impression in your life. So if you are dealing with anxiety, if you are suffering from any mental trauma, if you are suffering from PTSD, if you are suffering from any kind of disease, this might put an end to that chapter. What you will have to do is you need to bow down at the feet of Mahavishnu, because Mercury has reached and bowed down completely, and therefore Vishnu Sahasranam becomes the biggest remedy. Now for those who can't understand Sanskrit or cannot chant Sanskrit, should only take the name of Bhagwan Ram or say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. How many times? The time does not matter, the count doesn't matter. Start chanting. Allow your Mercury to be completely dissolved. Forget the dimension, rules, regulation. Just dissolve. The way Buddha, your consciousness, is dissolving. Now with Hasta Nakshatra impact, you will see that your hands will be impacted. If you follow your third house energies are also going to be impacted because of this. So people who are artisans, handicrafts, professionals, somebody who uses their hands a lot, will see great tremendous change in their life. Your hands will become the source of inspiration. But this is also going to impact if you have misused your hands, if you have signed something which you should not have, if you have written something which you should not have, if you have done something with your hand that is not great, this is going to take the power away, because it is all about power. There's a great power struggle happening in the Hasta Nakshatra. Then there are field activities, then there are any activity like such as yoga, pranayam, healing, something that is connected to physical exercise, something that is connected to, you can say, problem solving skills, practical skills, mathematical skills. You will see great improvement. So mathematicians, scholars, philosophers, scientists, people involved into theoretical physics, people involved into theoretical sciences, teachers, mentors, gurus, somebody who is into motivational speaking, astrologers, Vastuvid, all will be impacted, and in some or the other way, there will be a dimensional shift in your life. My words are, accept this dimensional shift and ride the wave of positivity. Because if you resist, you will see that Mercurian energies are not in the right position to actually counter it. You are not in a position to counter it. In fact, the sole purpose of this eclipse is to remind you of your duty, not to make it a charming, but it is like a medicine, a very, I will say, stubborn pill that you will have to swallow. This is like the red pill the Neo took in the Matrix. If you have seen the Matrix, the reality opens up. Your mind kind of cracks open and it kind of gives you all in deep insights. And spiritually, this is the biggest eclipse, one of the most important, one of the bigger reason. Observe where Jupiter is. What is Jupiter doing? It is 8th from the place of eclipse. Not only it is 8th, it is in Bharani Nakshatra. And this nakshatra itself is a nakshatra of bringing knowledge back to this life. You will have power of creation. You will create something. It may be poetry. It may be a new project. It may be a new chapter of your life. It may be something big and positive. But you need to be careful here because you will also have this feeling of enmity. You would also want to take revenge because of the tamasic energy influence of Saturn over Venus, Rahu over Sun, and Ketu over Moon. So you need to control all that tamas by controlling your food, because with food, your mind and your desires are created. Eat sattvic food, completely ignore all tamasic energy, tamasic food, any food that is tamasic, veg, non-veg, alcohol, smoking, nothing. If possible, just be on fruit, khichdi, simple diet, that whatever you can afford, whatever you can manage at your place internationally. Avoid non-vegetarian food completely, even if the eclipse is not visible. See, just observe what's happening around the eclipse. Jupiter in the 8th house gives you the core knowledge. Somebody who really wants to learn something, so you want to start learning something. Unlearn and relearn, your journey begins this eclipse. This is how powerful the eclipse has become. Let's understand for each ascendant what this eclipse has to offer. I hope you like this video, and if you like, do click the like button. It matters a lot. Small things do matter. Your subscription matters really, really. And if you subscribe, not only you get to see my videos, but it also tells YouTube that astrology is something that they can't ignore. It's not a profanity. And with all the energies of eclipse, let's build a community where we discuss together. So use the comment section below to write your experience so that others can read that. Let's engage in a constructive communication. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, the link is in the description box below. If you want to take my consultations, you can drop me an email. The email ID is also in the description box below, or you can give a call at the number that is on the screen. And if you want to follow me on Patreon, where I upload some deeper extra insights, something that I can't upload on YouTube for obvious reasons, I'm a bit free on that platform to explain a little negative side of everything that may not be very well perceived by general audience. But if you are a learner of Vedic astrology, if you're an enthusiast, you can join me and subscribe my Patreon channel. It one way helps the channel to run. It one way financially supports Punneit's astrology channel, but it also gives you some deeper insights. I've also started introducing nakshatra basics there, and that channel will also be used to announce future courses. Let's begin Ascendant-wise analysis. Aries zodiac sign. If you are an Aries zodiac sign, this eclipse is happening in your 6th house, and 6th house means prarabdha karma. This eclipse is going to cause some expenses. It will make you sacrifice few things. It will make you do some donations. It means that you will have to do certain karma, certain activity at places where you don't want or you don't like, because Moon Ketu means an uncomfortable situation happening in the 6th house. This can be something related to your health also, because it is also your ascendant lord tagged with Saturn in the 11th house. Nothing very negative, but you have to understand that because of your 3rd and 6th Lord are in Gandanta, it means you are creating a trap for yourself. So you need to be cautious about if you are traveling to a foreign country during this time, if you are trying to go for a very big expense, if you are going to do any out-of-court settlement through monetary decisions. Because this is the time when things can end. Obviously, this eclipse is going to end a lot of things because of Mercury Gandanta, but it is going to take certain chunk away from your life. Maybe some of your abilities will be restricted. Say you get some kind of restriction on movement, restriction on certain activities, or maybe in your job, your role is completely changed to something else. A Java developer is said to become a mainframe developer, which kind of heavily changes and redefines your role. Your strategy will be redefined. The best way is to go with the flow. And with these eclipse energies, these are more mental effect, which will translate into real-time life events slowly over a period of time. So don't take this like a one-day effect and it is going to impact you heavily like a bullet train. No, it is more like a substantially, it is going to change, events will happen. If you think you have a disease, if you think you are medically unwell, start working for this, because this is a great opportunity to come out of a disease, to make yourself debt free. Maybe at one shot you are selling something and making yourself debt free. This one shot treatment can happen, or at least a decision to go in that direction can happen during this eclipse. This eclipse will greatly affect your lifestyle. It will greatly affect how you deal with your finances, how you deal with your job. You may have to end a certain job because of your responsibilities and because of your prarabdha. Don't be worried. This is a new beginning. This is the new dimensional shift that will happen with you. So allow this to happen. You just ride the wave and focus on Vishnu Sahasranam. Bring Lakshmi Paduka in your home and just bow down in front of Mahavishnu and Mahalakshmi and say, you are my parents, you take care of my life. I will just follow and surrender to you. If you do this, your energies will be balanced. This is a great time to declutter your home, declutter your life and remove a lot of stuff out of your house so that cleansing can happen. Energy cleansing is also a great way to handle the eclipse energies. People with anxiety can be triggered during this time. You may need help. Contact someone. Talk to people who are professionals. Talk to people who are medical experts. Don't keep things within, because this eclipse is going to break the lid open and you will become an empty vessel. And this empty vessel will only happen if you have the right place to vent yourself out. Otherwise, this is going to destroy relationships. So figure out a right way to express yourself. Taurus, your ascendant lord is in 10th house. The eclipse happens in your 5th house. 5th house is Purva Punya. See, you will be saved. And you will be saved brilliantly from the problems. But try to understand one thing, that your 5th lord is in Gandanta. So you are going to spend your punya a lot. The best way to handle is that continuously replenish. It's like you have a crisis in your family and there is a lot of savings that you have. So your saving for now is buffering you. But can the saving help you survive for like lifetime? Maybe, maybe not. So there will be two type of impact on Taurus ascendant and moon sign natives. One, those who will feel nothing. You will just feel disconnected, detached, a little bit of spiritual inclination, and you will be good to go. The other one, who will be a little bit happy and safe in the first few weeks and days, and then suddenly they will start feeling that some curse or some protection has been lifted away. How do you decide who you are? Talk to an astrologer or take the precaution. Start chanting Ganesh Kavach 3 times a day. These are generic remedies, obviously that can be suggested on YouTube. If you want more precise, you have to consult an astrologer who takes a look into your horoscope. If you're a Taurus ascendant and moon sign, especially moon sign, because moon becomes exalt in Taurus. So you might just ignore the emotions coming your way. You are already in your space, a comfort zone. And this moon and Ketu coming in the 5th house can challenge your knowledge, can challenge your education, can challenge what you have learned. Your family values will change. Basically, you will become an empty cup and you will be forced to become an empty cup. So start becoming an empty cup and start unlearning from today. Unlearn and relearn is the theme of this transit for Taurus ascendant and moon sign natives. Now, when you unlearn something, that means you are becoming an empty book. You can write your life again the way you want. So this time start focusing on the spiritual side of it. A lot of people will also have problems related to their solar plexus, creating fear, insecurity. You can easily judge people. You will become very sensitive to smallest of the emotional response. There will be triggers in your life, emotional triggers that will make you overreact to situation. You might become highly insensitive and sometimes you might just cry for no reason. I'm talking about a wide spectrum of impact for Taurus ascendant and especially Taurus moon sign people. What should you do? Start collecting the punya. Start doing charity. But before that, 5th house is about knowledge. So start gathering knowledge. Read Bhagavad Gita. Best way to gather knowledge. Again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Especially on a Monday, my recommendation is to complete the entire Bhagavad Gita. I'm not talking about the Sanskrit version. I'm talking about the Bhagavad Gita in language that you can understand. So you understand the meaning of it. The essence is not reciting the shlokas for the sake of it. But the essence is to learn, observe and absorb the knowledge given by Gita. And that is the message for Taurus in this eclipse. This is also going to impact the children area of your life. If you have, you might be more worried. Some of your children might go without your permission. They may choose to step out of the home. They may choose to go out to educate. You may not like it, but this is going to teach you how to let go. How to let go of things, of emotions, of past trauma. So a lot of healing will happen. You have to just give in to this healing. You just can't hold on to your previous life. You have to be ready for the change and be the change and move to the next frontier. And that is the message for Taurus moon sign. Gemini. Now, if you are a Gemini, this eclipse is happening in your 4th house. 4th house usually talks about your home, your family, your mother. And with Moon and Ketu coming together in Hasta Nakshatra in the 4th house, definitely talks about the major shift and changes that can happen in your home. This might create a sudden requirement of you trying to buy a new home. This might create a requirement of you building new assets. Or this can also be where a rejection of asset can happen. That means you were ready to buy something and now you don't. Or if you want to sell something, if you want to unmerge from any coalition, this is the best time for that. This eclipse is going to trigger all this unmerging kind of emotions, and this is more like you will feel detached, you will feel happy within yourself, whereas on the other hand, you will also have this chance to experiment a bit. So it is more like you going out of your comfort zone and finding new avenues of life, finding new areas of life. Because it is your 4th house, obviously you have to be a bit careful about the health of your mother, but it also shows that you need to look towards your surroundings, because this is the time when you would want to quit and move out. A good thing for people who want to leave their country and move to a foreign land, but it is going to be damaging emotionally because you will have a lot of homesickness, especially if you are overseas. This can give you a certain kind of emotion where you would want to come back, but situations are not suitable. On the other hand, if you observe that this eclipse is going to encounter Saturn, Mars and Venus in the 9th house. Therefore, do not try your luck, especially in the matters of real estate. On top of that, if you are trying to go near a water body, especially near a lake, or if you stay near a lake, be careful for uncertain and untoward incidences. This is the time when you should discard and declutter things from your own house. Decluttering your aura and your home energies will really go a long way in managing the hardships of life, and you will feel much better. You will feel very happy, connected and stable at your own home, but you will create a different space for yourself. So one of the remedy is to restructure your house. Even if you have nothing to spend or lose, just change the position of certain, so that your house looks a little bit newer, a little bit different than what it was. The energy has to move around the house in a different format. Lighting the Sambrani cups, sage, and doing the Tibetan bowl meditation, all this will help you in the long run. It's because 4th house is not only your home, it's something that is very close to your heart. This is also the time when you might lose or get disconnected from a very good and close friend. There can be unnecessary fight, or you might just get too busy in your work. See, Rahu and Sun is in the 10th house. This is going to give you opportunities in your career, and maybe because of this you are unable to fulfill your personal commitments. That might create rift, so be ready for some explanation. Be ready for some changes in your life. That is definitely going to happen. Do not buy any vehicles at this point of time, and when you are driving, drive cautiously, carefully. Any kind of mishap can happen during traveling. It is best that you avoid a long distance travel immediately after the eclipse, like between 25th and 8th. But if you have to, just take a lot of precaution. Overall, this is a good eclipse. Overall, this is going to initiate change, but it is going to make you very uncomfortable, and you will feel that you don't belong where you are. But it means that you belong somewhere else. Try to find that and be an explorer. Cancer Ascendant. Now for you, the eclipse is very, very crucial. Why? Because if you are a Cancer moon sign, try to understand that your moon, which is your moon sign lord, the Rashi lord, is going in an eclipse. That too from your 3rd house. And 3rd house means your willpower, your free will, your ability to take initiatives in life. It is your courage. So it might hit you on a very psychological level. It might make you quit things. Now, if you want to quit something toxic, perfect time for you. But it might also make you quit something that is good. So if you want to leave something behind, if you want to change something about yourself, try to ask a question. Why do I want to change this? Is something really, really wrong with what I'm doing? What is the need? Why am I in the kind of a feeling where I have to take an initiative or lose an initiative? Because the 3rd house is a very unique house. It is a house which is placed in a very significant position with respect to 6th, 8th and 12th house. 3rd house happens to be your willpower, your courage, but it is connected with the 12th house as 4th place from 12th house. It's more like a comfort of your loss. It is 8th from 8th house. It is Bhavat Bhavam of your 8th house. If your 8th lord sits in the 3rd house, it's the Bhavat Bhavam. And it is the 10th from 6th house. It is the workplace of your disease. So see, everything originates from the 3rd house. If your 3rd house is positive, you can easily manage 6, 8 and 12 through your own courage, through your efforts, through your repeated initiatives, through your communication, because your hands are everything. Even if you're doing Japa Mala, you're doing it with your hands. And 3rd house is basically a spiritual energy that comes out with your soul using your arms and hands and that part of the body. It allows you to take control of your destiny, because 3rd house is right in front of the 9th house. It's 7th from 9th. Do not underestimate this house. And when your ascendant lord sits there and comes in an eclipse with Ketu, it shows that you can easily get rid of anything coming from the Trik Bhava 6, 8 or 12. This might also create disputes with your siblings, with your neighbors. Suddenly you might experience that your neighbors are no longer behaving correctly with you, or they are leaving the place. Something is happening because see, your neighbor is also under the effect of eclipse and you don't know what ascendant they are. So here, have this mutual understanding, have this mutual philosophy, have this philosophy of mutually coexisting with each other. Because if you take a weapon in your hand and you will only destroy things emotionally. So if you are dealing with anxiety, over stress, if you are emotionally overburdened, you may end up destroying everything, burning every house down. Not literally, but emotionally. And this is where somebody might make you believe something. So under the emotion, under the impression that you are a stronger person or you deserve something or you know something, you might end up taking decisions that is harmful for not only you but everybody around you. Please do not do that. It's significant for you to have a lot of restraint and control, and for this you need to pray to Bhagwan Ganesh. Chant Om Gam Gadpate Namah at least, if possible, 10,000 times, if not possible, at least 1,000 times on the day of eclipse. It's that significant. Do not take any travel, either short or long, between 25th and 8th. Avoid any investments during this time. If you get an injury on your hand and shoulder, do not aggravate it. Try to not involve yourself in any kind of play. Just try to keep things as low key as possible and just go with a frame that you will change people's life through positive aura and not through negative aura. Leo. For Leo zodiac sign, this eclipse will happen in your second house. A lot is happening in the 8th house, so this is more about transformation. You may be restricted with your diet because of a disease. If you want to get free from certain problems, restrict the way you speak and how you use your vocabulary, how you consume food. See, second house is a house that is very close to you. It's all about your resources, something that is at one arm distance. This eclipse is going to kind of take that away. It wants you to expand your reach, expand your horizon, and maybe take some calculated risk. This is the eclipse that is going to affect you financially because Mercury rules your 11th and 2nd house. It's a financial house. Be careful if you are investing around the eclipse time or if you are dealing with financial changes, because this eclipse can give you some setback. Like out of 100 positive days, there can be one very bad day financially that can wipe out half of your wealth, for example. This can give you a wake-up call if you are kind of financially sleeping. Protect your wealth, pull out any risky money. Don't play any risk at this point of time and for the next 3-4 months. Allow the things to settle down a bit. Second house is also about your family. So this shows family challenges, changes happening in family, small things that are indirectly impacting you. This is more about you want to do something, but there are restrictions and you have this duty and you really don't want to, but you have to. Certain responsibilities must be fulfilled before you can choose what's right and wrong for you. It might also be that there are responsibilities of other people outside your family, your own inner circle, which kind of becomes a liability or even, I will say, positive responsibility, but too much of a burden on you. Then you will have to decide what you can do, what you cannot do. So this is going to force you to prioritize your life. So if you start prioritizing your life from the first day, then it is the perfect example of managing the energies. So definitely with the second house impact and Mercurian impact and Mercury crossing the Gandanta from the 8th through 9th, it wants to end certain things. Now it may help you come out of a family business that is making a loss or close down a family business. It also means certain relations in the family might also get cut off. It also means that you will have to say or apologize because of certain words that you speak out of ego. Remember, your ascendant lord is going under the next eclipse. It's the sun. solar eclipse. So, realign yourself, reconfigure your words, practice silence, eat less, fast on the day of eclipse and fast on every Monday for next 16 Mondays, and just take the name of Mahadev. Chanting Om Namah Shivaya is going to be an excellent remedy. Not fighting with family members, not fighting on trivial issues is going to be the next best thing. But overall, this eclipse wants you to take control of your finances. That's the most important thing. Virgo. In case of Virgo, your ascendant is influenced by the eclipse. You are the one that is having the maximum impact of the eclipse, and this is more like a personality change. This is more like that you are going under tremendous amount of inner revolution, more like a Samudra Manthan. Circumstances are difficult, you want to get out of something, you can't, you have this desperate feeling to quit, restart, as if there was a time machine and you can somehow reset your clock. But that's not happening. And that is kind of bothering you. You are struggling to pull yourself. Obviously not everybody, but somebody who has an afflicted moon, Mercury, Sun in their birth chart will be influencing, getting this more. For Virgo moon sign, this is tremendous amount of inner transformation, a soul realignment. Meditate. Meditate heavily and do lot of pranayam. Pick up a mantra and start chanting that mantra 10,000 times, 20,000 times, 1 lakh, 100,000. You don't know any mantra? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just this mantra. Or simply Om Gam Ganapate Namah. Om Gam Ganapate Namah. This mantra. Continuously chant this mantra. These are not big, difficult mantras that need initiation. These are just simple, basic, I will say, prayers where you are just bowing down in front of God and you're just showing your gratitude. And that is what is needed. A self-destruction on an emotional level and recreation of yourself is what will happen because of this eclipse. Obviously not in one day, but this is a gradual. Each transit will take you one step closer to that. New work will open, new frontiers will open, new ventures will start, and you will see that you will work with team. However difficult the situation will be, you will be able to win. This is a great possibility. It is a time of great possibility, spiritual possibility. So if you are in the field of spirituality, healing, research, teaching, if you are in the field where you are in the field of medicine, say for example, great opportunities are coming your way. But the only thing is that because moon is impacted by Ketu, you will not find it very comfortable. This transformation is not that comfortable. So what should you do? Well, allow the transformation to happen for once and see the changes. Sometimes there is a famous, I will say, a part of the song is that Sat ki naav khevatiya Sadguru, Bhavsagar tar ayo, payo ji maine Ram Ratan dhan payo. That means if you get a jewel like Ram, like just the name Ram, you don't need to worry. Because with the boat of truth, carried by the Ram, the name Ram itself allows you to cross the ocean of Maya without doing anything. You have not done any karma. Just the name of the God will allow you to cross the ocean and fight and you don't need to fight the wave. You're just on top of Maya. That is exactly what will happen. I'm not saying that all of you will realize this. Some of you will still keep on trying, keep on struggling, especially people with Virgo moon sign, exalt Mars, Virgo ascendant, exalt Mars, Aries Mars, Leo Mars. Will keep on fighting. You will still believe, yes, you can do. But Virgo will break you. This eclipse will disintegrate What I am saying is that if you are finding something getting disintegrated, just relax, take a deep breath and let it happen. I'm not saying that if you are seeing a company fall down and if you are seeing your projects go down, that does not mean you will sit like this and wait for it to disintegrate. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that even if after your sincerest of efforts, if things are not coming under control, then that means it is not supposed to come under control. Allow the change to happen and you will see that this spiritual growth will guide you even in the most difficult phases of material life. Libra. Now in case of Libra, if you observe, this eclipse is happening in the 12th house. Now 12th house eclipses usually create expenses, unexpected expenses, untoward expenses. So be very careful when you are spending something just because you are feeling isolated. Sometimes we end up buying something because we feel shopping is going to be a stress release. It's not going to work that way when this eclipse happens. In fact, a debilitated Mercury, a Gandanta Mercury in the 6th house is a bigger challenge here. You have to understand that your 12th lord is in Gandanta. That means your expenses can put you into a certain kind of loan, or you might take loan to spend something. Now, I'm not saying that that is bad, but you should know your financial status. You should know what you're doing. It has to be a very smart decision. Otherwise, because Mercury is in Gandanta, it might put you into a trap, especially if it's a matter of business. This might happen that you are taking loan just to pay off the salary of your employees, which means if your business is already burning cash quite fast, you need to be alert, you need to be cautious. Also, a lot of energy shift will happen from the 5th house. This can create a certain level of dissociation with your loved ones. Maybe this is more like you are going to a foreign country, you are going to a different land, and maybe this is happening against the wish. But see if you are fulfilling your duty, because if you don't stick to your basic duties of life, then you will see financial losses coming your way. Whatever job or task you are taking at hand, that may not be fulfilled. So you need to be very, very focused. See, Jupiter is in 7th house, so you need to see the circumstance. You need to be aware of it. But what this Moon Ketu energies in Hasta in the 12th house will do is, it will make you do something that will create a loss for you. What you have to do is ensure that you are not committing any mistake. Now, how can you do that? Regularly reviewing your decision. Anywhere you see that there are red flags and something is not really right, don't take that decision. Wait for some time. Let the time pass. Because when the eclipse happen in the 6-12 axis for anybody, this is not good. This usually triggers diseases. This usually can trigger some unhappy circumstances. Obviously, it will not be a same thing for everybody. Someone might get a little bit of cough and cold and someone might get a big disease. But what I'm saying is that it all depends on your own internal energy. Now, because your ascendant lord is also with Mars and Saturn, you are kind of fighting and trying to hold on. But Moon Ketu wants you to let go. So the moment you start letting go of the emotion, the moment you start doing that internal declutter, things will become stable and positive for you. Because if you try to hold on, this is when the problem starts, be it career, be it your finance, or be it anything else. Especially in your relationship, if you're trying to hold on to something, very bad for you. Rather, you should be more adjusting, accommodating. If somebody wants space, give that space. But also try to keep a tab on what can go wrong, and so react accordingly. If you remain humble, if you stay grounded, best thing for you. For this Moon and Ketu in the 12th house, I will say, chanting Om Namah Shivaya is a brilliant remedy, because if you do that remedy, it will be something very, very auspicious for you. Scorpio. Now, in case of Scorpio, the eclipse is happening in your 11th house, though this is something which will make you rethink a lot about your gains. Whether you think that you want more or whether you want to manifest something that you're longing for, this eclipse is going to trigger that and maybe change your perspective and also your destiny. So sometimes this eclipse these kind of eclipses can change your thought process, the train of thought in completely different direction. Maybe you are going left, now you are going right. So expect this eclipse to give you a lot of new learnings at such a level that you may change your preferences and even change your network circle. So somebody who is involved in a spiritual network, this is going to be a brilliant time for you. Spiritually, if you want to gain something spiritually for Scorpio, this is a brilliant time. This is a time where I will say that you may get connected to the sadhus and the saints and seekers. But materially, this can be a little challenging, especially if you are in a financial crunch and you want to, connect with kind of a situation where money is the only solution. Then there can be problems. So what this will do is this will make you think out of the box, create new revenue sources, give you ideas how you can earn more money. So think constructively, because if you think destructively, money will not come to you. But if you think constructively, you will see that you will be in a much better situation. Also, your Ascendant Lord will be in the 4th house. Ascendant Lord sitting in the 4th house is again a brilliant position. This means that there you can get money by selling something, or you might end up going into a job where you are accepting a lower salary because there is a crisis at home or because there is a EMI to pay. So if you are in a trap of loan, debt, EMI, tread carefully, respect your source of earning even if it is not something that you like. But if you really want, if you're in a good space and you want to experiment a bit, you can experiment, but within your limits. But stock market experimentation can give you a very bad kickback. Be very careful there. Otherwise, for Scorpio, it is going to be a transit. It is going to be an eclipse, which kind of changes your perspective of life, because 11th house means what you can gain. And when I say gain, it does not mean monetary gain, not just monetary gain, but also gain of perspective, gain of health, gain of life, gain of lifestyle, and gain of a different kind of knowledge. Everything is going to change for you. Sagittarius. For Sagittarius natives, especially the Sagittarius moon sign, you will have to be very careful about your career, your reputation, your livelihood, because that is about to change. It can include new career ventures. So this eclipse might end a previous way of working and might start a very different and a new way of working. So if you want to experiment a bit, if you want to do a little POC, do it now. Because this eclipse will tell you how to become successful in starting a new style of business or a new style of work. People who want to change their domain in their career, who want to change their way of livelihood, can experiment a bit, and you will also see some positive results depending upon the timeline of execution. Will depend upon your Mahadasha or Antardasha, but the idea will be planted now. A 10th house eclipse means it will also impact your recognition. So the way you think you should project yourself is over. Maybe you will have to rediscover and redefine yourself. Because you know what is in Gandanta? Your 7th Lord as well as your 10th Lord. That means your business, your marriage and your career are intertwined, and you will see that something will happen beautifully, something that you can start with your spouse, something where you have to, figure out new ways of making things happen. The old things will not continue any longer. It means that your consciousness wants a new comfort zone. So get out of the old comfort zone and move to a new comfort zone. People who are stuck in a bad marriage, like on the verge of separation or divorce, may see conclusion coming your way. But should you initiate marriage during this time if you are a Sagittarius ascendant? Not the moon sign, but the ascendant? The answer is no. You should not. And with Mercury coming in Gandanta along with Sun and Rahu, remember, Sun is your 9th Lord. It's about travel. So do not buy any house during this time. Do not travel anywhere. This is the time to maybe in your own home, in your own heart, create the image of God. Like Atma Sakshatkar, the self-realization, the self-inner visualization. But Guru might come to you. In this case, chanting Lalita Sahasranam is going to be a wonderful remedy. Now, when Moon and Ketu are in the 10th house, you may not like your own work, your own job. This can create frustration. Seeds of thought. Seeds will be planted through frustration, anger, anxiety, and through wild emotions. You must walk carefully. For elderly people, I will say the hip surgery or the knee surgery may happen during this time, and sometimes the pain related to these areas, the ligament tear can happen, surgeries can happen, but again it can give you a new lease of life. So don't resist a change during this time. There can be events happening in your grandparents' life, in your family life, in case you are in a joint family. Now observe this, that this eclipse is going to execute through 3rd house. So it will make you do things. So you, through your own actions, will trigger through your own creativity a change in your life. You might follow your passion. You might quit job and start a business. You might quit business, start a job. All you have to do is keep the idea on hold until your horoscope is ready, your personal horoscope. The idea is good, execution will happen, but there is still time. If you rush, you will fail. So don't rush, be careful, and if you are handling the energies wisely and if you are keeping your anxiety in check, you are all good to go. Capricorn. In case of Capricorn, you have to understand that the eclipse is happening in the 9th house. This is more like Dharma Sankat. This is more like the time when you don't know how life is headed, where it is headed, what to do, how to resolve the situation. See, this is the time when the health of your father can get impacted, and because of which there can be inheritance related problems, a sudden travel, fight with your sibling, especially younger sibling, misunderstandings. What you will have to do is continue walking the path while you show the badappan, the sacrificial nature. Does not mean that you will allow injustice to happen with you, but still show the matured side of life. See, when Moon and Ketu is in 9th and then there is a Mars and Saturn and Venus in the 2nd house, family disturbance might happen. But then allow Venus to enter the Pisces, allow the Venus to become exalted, and then suddenly you will get creative ways to solve the problem. There will be initial tension, there will be initial struggle in the home front, but still you will be able to manage it. But where you will have to be careful is when you try your luck. Say you are trying stock market, you are trying speculative gains. You should be very, very careful there, because that can ruin you, that can destroy you completely. So if you have this habit of gambling, if you're a big risk taker, stay away from any kind of risk during this time, because this can really challenge your knowledge, and it can trigger something that you will definitely not want. This, if you are an elderly person, this can also create some tension related to grandchildren or the inability of your children to give birth to grandchildren. But here you will have to focus on Bhagwan Krishna Urja. Listen to flute music, focus on Madhurashtakam, listen to the song of the divine, and allow the energies of Krishna to flow through you. Because your condition will be like Arjun, because you have to fight those and that kind of scenario which kind of puts you in dilemma. What should you do? Then invoke the power of Krishna. Read Bhagavad Gita every day. Every single day. Doesn't matter what age group you are in. And you will see the magic happening right in front of your eye. All your answers will be available through the blessings of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Shri Krishnam Sharanam Mama. or Achyutam Keshavam Bhajan. And if you are from the West and you are unaware of what to do, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Aquarius. Now, if you observe, this eclipse is going to happen in your 8th house, and usually 8th house eclipses are the eclipses that brings major changes in your life. Something that you have never seen before, some changes that you have not expected before, something positive, and this is going to change the dynamics of your own family. Now, if you observe that for Aquarius, your ascendant Lord Saturn is with Mars and Venus. Venus, which is your 9th Lord, Mars, which is your 10th Lord, and therefore this is a very dynamic eclipse that involves a lot of action, fate change, and something that is very demanding by energy means. That means it is going to trigger a chain reaction of lot of events in your life that will involve a lot of energy shifts happening in your case, a lot of dynamic positive shifts happening in your case, but you will be also scared to face new challenges. After all, this is 8th house and this is going to throw new challenges, new things will happen in your life, and you will have to cope up with all the fluctuating demands of life. When you are talking about 8th house, you're also talking about occult energies. So astrology, healing will really help you, and in the long run, this is going to save you from a certain disaster. So you can focus on healing energies, spiritual energies, because if you are spiritual, if you are praying to God every day, this will keep your energies in the positive sense. And even if your boat sways by the wind, you will not fall, your boat will not topple down, you won't drown. See, Moon and Ketu in the Ashtama Bhav is a lot about past life traumas. So this is going to release a lot of that. This is going to make you let go of those traumas in a big way. Especially with Rahu, Sun and Mercury in the 2nd house, all your throat chakra energies will get released. So you will speak up, and speak up in a manner that you have never spoken up before. So this is going to make you bold. This is going to make you decisive. This eclipse is going to trigger that emotion where you will be, speaking what you have not spoken for so long. But be mindful how you do this. If you know that you cannot do this, it can impact someone negatively. Maybe it's a high time that you talk to a healer or a counselor, where through counseling you can let go of these energies, or through certain meditative practices, through certain psychological practices you can let go, because you would really not want any damaging thing to happen at this point of time, because 8th house certainly can cause a lot of damage. Not only that, it's an eclipse happening in your 2nd and 8th house, so it is also going to drain a lot of your money. Maybe because of an ego or to prove a point, you will put all your money in one basket, all your eggs in one basket, and that can maybe resolve a situation or put you into a deeper trouble. You have to deal it case by case basis. So according to what case you are in, what problem you are in, decide accordingly, but don't jump into any conclusion immediately. This is the point where you resolve things through common discussion and dialogue and diplomacy, rather than fighting and trying to prove a point, because too much of heavy energies are on your ascendant and that can crowd your thoughts. So don't let your thoughts be carried away or crowded by Rahu's energy, rather than use all the Saturnian force. Pisces, and for Pisces, it is going to be not one but 2 eclipses, because this is happening in your 1-7 axis. If you see, the Pisces is going to face a Moon Ketu eclipse in the 7th house. So it is going to impact you through the circumstance. See, take it like this. There will be challenging situation around you. You would want to overcome those situations. And in order to overcome those situations, you will try to have a kind of a personality change. You will try to change yourself to become somebody that you are not. This can be because of a desperate situation. This can be because of you're trying to save a marriage. This can be because you are trying to, save a business partnership, fetch a deal. Just don't try to fake yourself. See, changing your personality is okay as long as you are upgrading, you are learning something new, you're becoming a better version of yourself. But the moment you start faking it, just for the sake of it, then the things will start falling down. See, a Moon Ketu happening in the 7th house can create either an everlasting bond or a friendship, or it can simply destroy just because of your overactivity. 7th house also can impact your contract, your basically whatever commitment you have made. See, this can make you feel to break an oath, to run away from a commitment. Don't do that. You might feel that you are more important, you are better than the rest, and that is why you deserve to break the trust, and you will say, I don't want to fulfill this promise. Don't do that. Because if you don't fulfill your promise, then the Saturn, Rahu, Mars, Ketu, everything will go against you. Rather, you should be like, I want to finish this promise as soon as possible. Because if I finish it, that means my karma is over. And that is what Moon Ketu is all about. Because if you observe, Moon is your 5th Lord. 5th Lord coming in the 7th house is a very, very unique transit. Now, definitely in certain cases, when 5th Lord comes in the 7th house, this may break a running relationship. This can create gap in romance. This can create separation between husband and wife. This can also delay marriage because of some valid reason. Don't be frustrated. See, if things has to happen, in certain cases it will happen. You may not have complete control. So it is better to know if the event that happened or is going to happen is a good for you event or a bad for you event. Because if it is good for you, then it is okay. But if it is bad for you, what can you do? The first thing that you can do is control your tongue, both from the food perspective as well as from the word perspective. Also check your body language. Are you becoming too dominating? Are you becoming too strict? Are you coming across as a threat to someone? Because if you work on your physical structure, if you work on your body, if you work on your soft skills, body language, a lot can be solved just because of this. Sometimes when you're talking with someone and your eyes say something else. So keep your conscious clean, keep your heart clean, and do twin heart meditation, do some deep chakra meditation. Focus on the Mooladhara chakra. The best remedy for you will be praying to Bhagwan Ganesh and chanting Ganesh Atharva Shirsh and bowing down and allowing Bhagwan Ganesh to remove all the vigna, all the obstacles that may come in your path. But what you should do is do one commitment, that you will always be spiritual and you will always pray to Bhagwan Ganesh. Because if you try to take control of the situation, Moon Ketu will create a dissociation. You might also feel a certain gap with your life partner. There may be arguments, there may be one sentence that can break years of bond. Don't let that happen. Let the eclipse give you new ideas of business. It can help you go into finding the life partner, which is basically karmic in nature. A lot of karmic connections will happen and karmic dissociations will happen in this time. Enjoy the eclipse, but keep a tab on your emotions.